Si te quieres divertir. Hola a todos, hoy soy un poquito nerviosa porque yo no hablo español, esto es una mentira. Soy una mentirosa. In today's video, I'm going to share the tools I have been using desde cero para aprender el español. So I want to show you what I've been doing so far to learn this wonderful language. So hey, my name is Paulina. I am an Italian and Polish native speaker and I love learning languages and I'm also a language teacher.
Es muy cercana y
Muy
no
cercana.
solo se centra en los miembros del núcleo familiar, es decir, en los padres.
With Spanish, I've had a very peculiar journey because I started quite recently. My native language is Italian, which, as I always mention in my videos, helps a lot because your native language shapes what you think about a language, what you know about languages. Knowing Italian is definitely helping me when it comes to vocabulary. Plus, when I was a teenager, I also loved watching telenovelas. So I listened to a lot of Spanish songs. I could sing now many songs from Floricienta, Nini, Casi Ángeles. This is what we call an unfair advantage. And you could use this for your language learning experience. There are going to be, depending on the language you speak, some other languages, sorry for the repetition, that are going to be easier and more difficult to understand and to learn and to then use in your daily life. I think that Spanish was an easy choice. I'm not gonna lie, I think Spanish was an easy choice, but I love the language. I find it so sexy, it's so interesting. This was my starting point. At the beginning, I always recommend choosing few materials because you risk being overwhelmed. I decided to buy a planner to be motivated. I just love taking notes, so I love it. To be fair, I got started with Easy Spanish and Easy Spanish was very difficult for me. So I said, when you're getting started, you don't want to pause every 5 seconds. And that's what I was doing. I was pausing. At some point, I was just reading the English portion. Doesn't make any sense. What I did was genuinely writing on YouTube A0 Spanish, A1 Spanish videos. And I found some beautiful vlogs. I'm going to share here the videos. These are comprehensible input videos. These are videos in which you learn from context. You're watching the video, you're listening to the person speaking. Something that has worked a lot with me was not trying too hard. And yeah, maybe it doesn't sound like help, but I promise you, not trying too hard, not being a try hard. I was watching these videos out of interest. They were interesting for me and I tried to understand as much as possible. And especially I was trying to understand as much as possible without relying on English or any other translation. So I started watching those videos. Sometimes I would watch them twice, 3 times, and each time there was something new that started to make sense. I did 3 things, which were: 1, I changed my language settings on my phone and my phone is now in Spanish, and especially at the beginning it helps you a lot with vocabulary. Secondly, I decided to follow a lot of Spanish YouTubers and Instagrammers and people who are sharing their lives. This gave me the opportunity of having something on my feed every single day and eventually finding videos that are actually interesting for me, things about which I'm also a bit of an expert. So I love languages, so I started watching language learning videos in Spanish. I know what it is, so I want to hear the description in Spanish. I know what the Pomodoro technique is. I want to hear about it in Spanish. I know about the stereotypes that exist in Italy. I want to hear about them in Spanish. So knowing what you're listening to and you just then concentrate on the form, this helped me a lot. I used the same technique to learn English. I was watching makeup tutorials and I knew what the girl or the boy was doing in the tutorial. So I didn't focus on the actual tutorial. I was focusing more on the language used to explain the different steps. Eventually, with time, I also understood more of the songs I already knew. Slowly, I'm starting to understand now more and more of the lyrics. Easy Spanish started to be easier and easier. Now I can actually understand so much of Easy Spanish that is insane. But I also now have been watching Español con Juan for a very long time now, and I love his content. And now I'm starting to understand also Spanish content, which is not meant to teach. Oh, I also love Español con Olga y Miguel. Amazing vlogs. I never miss an episode because they're so cool. I recently discovered Online Mommy, and she makes great content, and she talks about issues that are very common and important in our society. I just listen to these videos with so much willingness and such a peace of mind. I love listening to her. With Spanish, I haven't done much grammar, and now just recently, what has truly helped me a lot in this A kind of level, first of all, liking the language and being curious to just listen every single day to content, material, stuff. Now I'm focusing more also on reading and understanding and actually trying to speak. I have a course book and I have a graded reader. So the course book I've been using is this, and this doesn't focus on grammar whatsoever. This is more about reading and understanding the culture, which again, I'm obsessed. And what I love about this is that you have reading, you have videos, you have questions. I know myself as a learner, so I know that this, if you love culture, if you love history, if you love geography, this is an incredible choice. And then I also chose something to focus also a bit more on vocabulary and grammar. So I have this graded reader, which I bought in Poland. This is A2B1, and I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of vocabulary I don't know. There are many cognates, there are many words which I know from Italian, there are many words I understand from context. I'd also recommend the Assimil because in general the Assimil is great. I'm also going to share here on the screen some course books that now I'm using when I need some grammar information, because I'm slowly trying to incorporate more grammar. When I see something in context, I try to say, what is this? So I look it up on the grammar books. Let me know if you're studying Spanish, what have you been using? And I'll see you in my next video. Y hasta luego. Ciao!